we can continue.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another week, another webinar. This webinar is organized by GoWB. So we all want to go with WordPress. So the names come from in that way. WordPress 6.5 is coming. It is scheduled for March 26, right? Let me confirm the date first. Right? I'm wrong. And its release candidate 3 is released yesterday. So if you haven't tested it yet, you can go to wordpress.org/news and see the instruction how to install it, the release candidate version 3. Test it, and you can see the incredible features that is coming with WordPress 6.5. There are so many exciting features that is coming. Among them, there are some good features like you can now easily install Google from the backend, from the editor. Uh, in the previous days, uh, if a theme or plugin provide the functionality for fonts, then that was possibility to add the fonts. And there are so many fonts related plugin available in WordPress plugin repository. But now, from the themes editor, you can simply install, upload any Google fonts easily. Besides that, there are some uh, features added like aspect ratio in cover block. Now you can rename uh, uh, blocks, group sections, and there are also other features coming with 6.5. And there are some developer aspects of 6.5 also coming. For that note, today we have Justin Tadlock, who will showcase the things about 6.5, what is coming, and he will also tell us about the his probably the favorite features of 6.5. He's also most like exciting about that. And the great thing is that Justin wrote a lot of articles in Developers Handbook, Developers uh, uh, Handbook for WordPress themes related to block themes. So if you want to create a block themes, then you can refer the Developer Handbook that is available in WordPress Developers Handbook, and most of them are written by him. So today we have Justin. And probably Justin will share the screen, showcase some features, and also talk about the developer's perspective of 6.5 in the API things and other things as well. And if you have questions in the meantime, probably you can use the chat. And at the end of the webinar, when Justin complete his talk, probably we can do some question and answer section as well. So I'd like to hand over microphone to Justin and share about 6.5, and we'll all listen and see you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, so this was kind of a last minute invite for me. So I'll just say I'm happy to share anything with about WordPress 6.5 from the developer perspective. And we can definitely cover a lot of ground. Some big features that are really exciting right now. You've already mentioned the font, installing fonts from the back end. I'm working on a tutorial for that, so hopefully we'll have a thing on the official developer blog soon, and I'll showcase a little bit of what I'm working on. Block bindings, which probably is, if you're not familiar with the block bindings API, we'll definitely dive into that. That's one of my favorite features, but it's more along the lines of most people care about like custom fields. So it's easier to say, hey, there's some custom fields support. And The Interactivity API is also coming. I haven't personally done as much work, but we can probably showcase one of my colleagues, Nick Diego, has built a mega menu with the Interactivity API and actually some other features that are in WordPress 6.5. And I'm trying to think. There are so many developer features. Like it's just a long list. So if there anybody in the chat who just want to say, hey, let's check out this first, or you have things you want to see, I'm happy to share those. But do you want to just go ahead and dive into, let's go ahead and pull up the font, since that was like the first thing brought up. And I'll share my screen. Actually, I need to first let me switch over to the other screen. Okay. All right. So let me move a couple things. All right. So I need to switch themes because I'm doing this for 2024 or a child theme. As you can see, I have a lot of themes installed. And okay, so one of the things I've been working on for the last couple of days is with the fonts library. And I don't think this one of the features has gotten a lot of attention yet, just because we have so many other developer focused features. So it's the font library is a little hidden. You have to click the styles icon, then go to typography, and then there's another little manage fonts icon. So I actually have Google Fonts disabled right on this, but so let's just I'll show you what I've been doing. I am working on a tutorial to showcase how you can register like these custom font collections, so that you're not necessarily limited to Google Fonts as a theme author or a plugin author. You can actually create your own collections. And here I have like just a modern, some modern font faces, system fonts. And we can, like if I want to install monospace slab serif, the user can come in, hit install, and it shows up in there. They can use it however they want in their theme. And you can also do this with, these are system fonts under modern stacks. You can do this with like actually web fonts that are, hosted elsewhere, or, packaged with your theme, and they will be installed to the user's WordPress. And I don't want to install too many fonts, but let me actually disable. We're going to do a little bit of live coding today. Today, I'm guessing, let me see. And what was the name of that thing? TT4 layouts and function. So yeah, you can register, fonts with you can register them straight in PHP, or you can reference a JSON file. Really cool. But I actually have the Google Fonts unregistered, so we'll just uncomment that and reload, so you can kind of see the defaults, what's available. And so yeah, normally you would have like a whole list of Google Fonts, and yeah, really cool. You can use this. You can actually disable the font library altogether. Also, I don't know if I have the code for that on hand, but it's possible. And let's see, do we have any, yeah, we don't, I'm just checking the chat to see if we have anything there. But yeah, the font library is really neat. The only issue I kind of have with it is that you can't use semantic, like you can't map, like if I install a monospace slab serif, font, it's not going to map automatically, or there's no easy way to map that to like something that you named in your theme JSON in your theme. And so like the user, if they install a font, they have to go through and actually decide all the places they wanted to put it. In their text, links, headings, and so on. So that's kind of a little bit of the downside, but it's still really neat and really fun. And I hope people enjoy that feature. But let's go ahead and jump into my favorite feature, which is the block bindings API. And I do have an example pulled up. Let me change themes because most of my examples are in my other theme. There we go. And all right, block bindings. So block bindings are really cool. Both of these examples are of custom bindings, which means basically what we're doing is taking, let me kind of break down what block bindings are in general. They're a way of binding data to a block. So this is a paragraph block here that displays a random lyric from Hello Dolly. And I'm trying, I have like so much going on my screen. I hope, trying to disable some things. But if we look here at this text on the front end, it shows like a lyric from the Hello Dolly plugin. But on the back end, I just have some placeholder text. So what's going on is this is a little WordPress paragraph block. And I'll scroll down and show you the code. So if we look here at the bindings, like in the actual code, this is basically telling WordPress that, hey, I have this source, it's called project/fun stuff, and it has a key. It wants to look for hello, and which is in my theme is mapped to, or actually this is in a plugin. And we can look at, let me see. Okay, this is, so I have a custom block binding registered, and it's just got a callback if it sees this key, hello registered, and Hello Dolly plugins installed. We can output a random lyric from that plugin. So why is this? I know that's kind of a simple example, but I think it kind of shows the power that we can take any data. It doesn't matter where the data is coming from. It can be a custom field, it can be user data, it can be term post data, it can be just something from a plugin. There's really no limits, and we can connect that data to a block now. Now we are limited to, say, I think the paragraph block, heading block, a couple of attributes on the button block, and the image block. So above you see I have a slightly more advanced example. There's still work that needs to be done on the UI to make this more user friendly and WordPress 6.6, and beyond. But all of these fields here, this is a user card. It shows a heading, which on the front end we'll see as an image, and a user description. Now, like I said, the UI isn't as friendly as we want it to be yet, but on the front end, you can see this data is actually dynamically generated. So it's just attached to the first admin user, and my avatar, and the my user profile description. So the biggest thing, and I don't have an example right off like pulled up, and I'm sorry about that. But most people want to use this with custom fields, and there is Core has a built-in custom field, a built-in
So,
custom field
yeah.
feature.
So those data are coming from the custom fields that you just saw about the
Um,
gravatar.
yeah, for the user data, that's actually coming from user meta. So user
Mm.
the but I do have a tutorial on the developer blog. And I'll link this in the chat because this covers and hopefully when share with show notes and so on. Um, but yeah, this covers and we can actually just copy and paste like literally from from this tutorial. Um, probably let me see because I think I want to pull up something simple just to show like actual custom fields. That's just yeah, this is a good I was going to say it's a good tutorial, but I'm a little biased since I wrote it. But there are I was trying not to pull up the image one. I thought I had oh, there it is. I skipped past it. So this is just a really simple example. Yeah, and there's no UI for inputting this at the moment. Um, so it's kind of you have to go to the code editor, but mostly this is a developer feature. Um, so yeah, right now, yeah. So it doesn't show anything, and I actually don't have custom fields turned on. Hold on. And we have preferences, and we can just turn custom fields on. And so project slug mood. Yeah, I mean, ideally you would have a lot of this, this feeling good. So I'm just adding, I'm connecting a custom field. Oh, I'm connecting a custom field to the binding, and it should show, I think. Yeah, it does show when that custom field is available in the back end. That's the difference between custom fields and like custom other custom bindings is custom fields that are registered will actually appear in the editor too. Um, so it's just we're pulling custom data from different places. And this could be really cool for, I don't know, building, maybe you're building a book review site or a movie, you know, database or something like that, or whatever, other custom post types you have. And then you're connecting this data in your templates. And of course, like you probably want to build like an actual UI, something in the sidebar instead of having your users turn on custom fields and go down to this, old school, like classic, UI down here and adding things. But yeah, that is a very quick rundown of how block bindings work. I do have some more polished examples of what I'm personally doing. For example, if we look here, this at the bottom, the query, query loop pagination block. Normally, you wouldn't be able to do this. Add like, hey, we're on page 1 of 4, and if we go to page 2, we're on page 2 of 4. Usually, you can't inject things in there. So we have a new feature in WordPress that allows you to filter like the allowed blocks that go into the pagination. But this is actually a block binding right here, this text. How do I dynamically output dynamically output what page you're on? Because there's not a block in WordPress that does this. So we look at the like actual editor. And you'll see this here, and it actually looks like a block. So this is the block binding like I showed you before, but it's a more polished version. I have it connected to a custom block variation. This is still under the hood a paragraph block, but because it's tied to a block variation, I can add a custom icon in the top right here. I can add a custom description, but as you see, like in the block sidebar, it's got the normal, paragraph style options and so on. And I really think as we move farther into like the next few months, the next couple of years, block bindings will open up a world of possibilities for anything you want to do as a developer. I think the only limit is your imagination. And there's only 4 blocks that are supported right now. I do see a question though. So you asked, will it work with ACF? Absolutely. That question's come up a bunch. I haven't personally tested ACF because I haven't. It's not a plugin I use, but I have had other people test with it. I think there are probably some things in ACF, maybe like some repeater things. If I'm saying that right, there's some repeater fields and stuff that maybe are a little bit more advanced than what you're able to do just bind to one block. I don't know. It's going to take somebody who's a little bit more familiar with ACF to really push the limits and see where maybe there are some issues or if it just all works. But ACF is, from what I understand, works on top of the regular post meta custom fields system in WordPress. So, I don't see an issue. The other question, do we still have to register the post meta to show under the Spectre controls? Yes, you should register your meta. You should always register meta. For one thing, you define how to sanitize it. That is pretty important. Like if we go back to the example I was showing, and this here, even though you can add that manually, this is actually registered in my plugin. So you'll see we're right here. So I actually have that registered, as a post meta. And you do want to make sure show and rest is true, because you want it to work in the block editor. And when you do that, that's how when it's registered, you actually get this. The preview works in the editor. If it's not registered, that doesn't work. Oh yeah, Carolina says the single also also has to be true. Yeah, this is all in the on the developer blog tutorial. These examples you can copy and paste and study. Yeah, definitely always add a sanitized callback because you want to make sure the data is correct, and safe. And yeah, definitely define that. But yeah, if anything else we want to cover with block bindings, questions or anything. I mean, I have tons of examples, and we could probably I could spend an hour just talking about block bindings. But there are other WordPress 6.5 features.
Yeah, and we also need to check from our end as well. Like we need to explore ourselves too. Probably we can go with another part of 6.5.
Yeah. So what did we cover? I just did a developer hours on some new layout things. There are a few, just a couple quick things, like we have a new, you can set cover blocks to aspect ratios. It's a smaller feature, but I knew I had it pulled up really quick, so we can change the aspect ratio for covers. And but just a quick fun thing. Um, for a practical use case, you can say I'm using it here in a query loop block, and that's 16.9 aspect ratio, or actually 4:3. I thought it looked a little weird. So yeah, really neat. Just a little fun design thing for theme authors. In case you missed that one. Interactivity API. I don't personally have an example of this, just because I haven't. I've been working on the block bindings API and some other features, so I cannot really showcase Interactivity API on my own, but I will showcase one of my colleagues' developer blog posts, and I'll also share this link in the chat. So this is, I know it doesn't say Interactivity API in the post title, but it is, the Interactivity API doesn't just live on as a feature necessarily on its own. You want to, what matters is the implementation. So what is the Interactivity API? It is a way to create interactive effects, for lack of a better word, interactive elements on the front end of a website. So this, generally you might think of interactivity as one thing, maybe a slider. Maybe you're building a gallery slider and you need a way to connect like your buttons to move left and right. That's a really simple thing. And all this is doing is giving us a standard way in WordPress to build these types of systems, these types of interactive front ends. So with mega menus, you obviously need some things like, if you can kind of see in the on my screen, it's just, these are very simple things. Click to open a mega menu, and there's a button to click to close it. And there's also, probably the biggest showcase of WP Movies. I forgot the actual name of the website, but there it is, wpmovies.dev. It showcases a lot of really neat interactive features that are a bit more advanced. So we can run through those really quick. If you see here, there's a like button. If you pay attention in the top right hand corner, anytime I click a like, it updates it. Now, in this demo, this is all stored in the user's browser, so it's not persistent, but you would have to build a way to store that in the database if that was something you wanted to do for your project. But it is persistent because it's in the browser, stored across page loads. The Interactivity API is just the JavaScript part, mostly JavaScript. It's just the interactive part. It's not the database level part. And you could do things like, if I hit play trailer, and we won't actually play it, and you can switch screens, and this is all built with the Interactivity API. You can have this trailer play in the right hand corner. Trying to think if there are other interactive things. Let's see, we can just search for Godfather, but you see there's lots of really, neat things happening. It's really fast. And there are a lot of things you can do also with block bindings here. The demo is not updated, but I think the team who works on this is going to update this to integrate more block bindings. For example, like this data, when the film was released, when the runtime, the ratings, all this stuff can be accomplished with block bindings, but right now they are custom blocks. And that's a good way to think about block bindings, is they're a way to not have to write custom blocks in many cases. And but since we're talking about the Interactivity API right now, yeah, I mean, what whatever kind of front end effects you want to do, systems. And I think probably the neatest thing about the Interactivity API was shown in the like button example, because these are two totally different blocks. There's one block to hit click a like button, and one block in the top right that is showcasing how many likes there are. These are two blocks that are disconnected, but they both work on top of the same data that's stored. So you can have interactive experiences that not just across blocks, but across page loads and so on. And I'm gonna check the chat. Do we have yeah, anything? Yeah. We do have a few developer hour sessions. We just had one a week ago that dove into and I'll pull WordPress TV up, and yeah, it is available on WordPress.tv. There we go. And we had a guest speaker, David Arenas, who knows a lot more about the more developer specific details with Interactivity API. So yeah, definitely check that out. We had a lot of great questions that were, I think, answered. All right, what do we want to look at next? Anything
I think there is
specific?
some changes coming. I think there is a feature coming for patterns as well, right? So I forgot what. So sync
Let's
patterns.
see.
So,
Okay. Yeah, some of the pattern stuff actually got removed for 6.5. So like pattern overrides were, as far as I know, yeah, removed. I'm trying to think of a way to explain pattern overrides, but we don't. Yeah, essentially pattern overrides were going to be a system to allow you to build a pattern within the interface, and there will be a way to imagine like keeping the design of your pattern and keeping it consistent across the entire site, but you also want to update, edit, the content in specific places, like when in specific uses in a page or in a post. But you also want to update it, the design over time, and across all usages. That was pulled. There are changes to the workflow. Yeah, even without there. Yeah. So, anyways, patterns were, the sync patterns or partially sync patterns were removed, but I do look forward to those in WordPress 6.6. And we do have a question: are reusable blocks and sync patterns the same thing now? Yes. Okay. Yeah, they are the same thing. I don't know which WordPress version that changed. So this, if we look at sync patterns, which I don't actually have any on my install, but we, yeah, so if you just go create a pattern, tests, and so when you do this, and you click synced, which is by the default, that's essentially a reusable block. Okay, I was going to say that was a little buggy. That may just be my install. I have a lot of things going on, but probably need to report this behavior. Hey, that's why we test though, right? But yeah, so that's a reusable block. And okay, yeah, thank you, Carolina, in the comments. Because I was unfamiliar with this sync patterns are no longer directly editable in the poster page content. Okay, so that's what's changed with the workflow. Yeah, I haven't done a lot with patterns in this release. I'm totally behind on patterns. But yeah, the UI, believe the UI is completely, this is using the data views, which is definitely a part of WordPress 6.5. And we do have the ability, the pages are using, have data views too. Let's just let's look at the, the pages. This is really fun. I don't know if first, just on a personal note, I don't know if I like the user experience of having pages within the site editor right now, because the site editor is, if we see up here, it says design, but pages or more content. But over time, as the WordPress admin evolves, this is the experience that I think we're going to expect, not just with pages and within the site editor itself, but as the overall admin of WordPress. So, we still have a long ways to go, but this is part of phase 3 of the Gutenberg project. Is collaboration, I think, is the name of the phase, but that also starts at the ground up from how we have to reimagine what the WordPress user experience is from the back end. So there's a lot of different sorting things. We have a table and grid views for pages. Now, yeah, if you actually have a featured image assigned, you'll see that instead of the empty gray. But I'm really excited about where this is going. Compatibility improvements related. I'm just reading through the chat too. But yeah, definitely check out the new data views, and just leave feedback, bring feedback into we have an official outreach channel in the WordPress Slack, which is a great place to say, hey, this, how can we improve this and get conversation started? Isn't the editor, all right, so you asked if the editor will be messy having everything there. I think if we're just talking about the site editor, if we just add everything in the site editor, this UI, it will be messy, but I don't think that is the long-term goal. Would be more to break out of this and to this being more the overall experience. Maybe we don't have the old admin menu anymore. It's everything is kind of like a single page application. I think that's the long-term hope. And some of the groundwork that's been laid is what you see within the site editor. So yeah, I think we'll just have to wait on to see what the feedback is on what data views look like now. And not only apply them to what we have now, but to be thinking about what they're going to look like in the overall WordPress backend experience. But we did have one other thing in the chat that came up. Could you please provide more information on compatibility improvements related to classic themes such as appearance tools? How might these improvements enhance the user experience, and what specific benefits could users expect from them? Wow. I know. Yeah, we're bringing out the hard questions. I am not up to date on. I knew the appearance tools did get an update, and I'm pretty sure I wrote about it. But I haven't fully tested. I kind of live in a block theme, like completely, a complete bubble of block themes most of the time. Don't okay. Thank you, Carolina. Don't enable it on old themes. Are we referring to don't enable appearance tools? Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I haven't tried it yet. Do we want to give it a try? Just even though Carolina said not to, see what happens. I don't know what I know we got an old theme. Let's try it on something relatively. I'd have no idea if 20. I did install Activate 2020, right? I am not scared to just test 2020. Yeah, test things out on the fly and see what happens. And I don't know, I'm making sure 2020 doesn't already support appearance tools. I don't think it does. So, I mean, we will absolutely just look. Appearance tools. Okay, so there are a lot of CSS conflicts, and yeah, I like the idea of using theme JSON anyway, for handling, various features. Trying to, I don't want to click on any of those. Hey, I actually have a Nepal post here. So appearance tools, well, my gallery, I think that gallery uses a different gap, but all right. So I don't think I completely broke anything in this post, at least. Well, yeah, I think the best thing to do is just really go test out adding appearance tools and just see what happens. And I've got to pull this down. Shout out to whoever took that. That's one of my favorite test featured images. That's from the WordPress photo directory. But yeah, appearance tool activation. What does it open up? You should get your basic colors and text. I think it adds borders for blocks that support it. And yeah, we can test, yeah, asking in the chat about borders. So let's, sorry, I have to move my screen. Let's just turn this into a group and we can test what borders look like. So yeah, I mean, so far, at least in the editor, it looks like it works fine. And hopefully this actually supports. you can see how often I use classic themes, because I was like, where's padding? Wasn't padding available? If you're going to add a border, you want to have padding, and maybe that's something you need to turn on. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Spacing, border, shadow, link color, background image. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the chat to keep me from guessing. Um, yeah. How many people are in the chat that are still using classic themes? I wonder. Show of hands. Are you still building with classic themes, or are you on block themes? All right. So yeah. Only for yeah. I definitely encourage using block themes to like WordPress 6.5 is really great for building block themes. There are some pain points. I see we do have a few people still using Classic. Um, there, block themes do have some limitations that you just that are really hard to do if you're kind of in that mindset of building things like in the classic way. I think it takes like a bit of a reset. You have to rethink how you approach building themes. It's a totally different method, um, and you'll definitely hit some bumps in the road when you're building them. Um, but it's real. I think it's also an opportunity to explore design in a very different way, and you'll probably find out if you haven't really built on block themes, you will find out that you can do a lot of things that were really hard to do before. Yeah, so there's a mix of like, there's some problems, but there's also a lot of really polished pieces of WordPress around block theming right now. And once you have like features like the block bindings API that we've talked about, that opens up a lot more possibilities in WordPress 6.5 that you can do with your themes, especially at the template level. I kind of showcase what it looks like in the post editor, but at the template level, you can do so much. We looked at mega menus. If you're building for clients, that's always been a big pain point. So with the Interactivity API available now, and it's not just the Interactivity API that makes that possible. There's a new hook that allows you to put any block that you want to allow in the navigation and nested inside navigation. That hook is available in WordPress 6.5. So you can do things like mega menus. You can do things like add a shopping cart link to your menu, or anything else you might need. So for me, like WordPress 6.5 has just opened up a lot of these really neat developer, hooks or features or so on, and so on. Uh, yeah. So yeah, responsive design. But yeah, somebody brought up responsive design. Of course, that is a common question. Not to veer too far off the subject of just WordPress 6.5, but I will say, having I've been designing for 20 years, and probably in the last 2 or 3 years, on sites I've needed like actual. When people talk about responsive design, they're talking about usually media queries. And you can definitely do that with block themes. You just don't, there's not a UI for setting custom media queries, but you can do it in CSS like you always have been able to do. But in the last 2 or 3 years, can count on one hand, the sites I've actually needed media queries for, for, and that's not, yeah, maybe on one hand, the number of times like on a project. So, just 2 or 3 times in a project, I'll need, a custom media query. But other than that, I mean, most of the web is mobile now. We need to be designing websites that are mobile first, and everything's top down. When we're doing a lot of these media queries, we're doing lots of columns and really advanced stuff. Most actual website visitors are actually not seeing that. They're seeing your mobile version, which is just one big stack column. But I'm always happy to reach out and help solve media query related issues. Hopefully we do get some level of more advanced tools in regards to that. And I know we in WordPress 6.6, and sorry this isn't a 6.5 feature, but there's going to be really some neat things around grid that kind of fall in that responsive and intrinsic design paradigm. It's going to really open up some really neat layout things that I'm looking forward to. Unfortunately, that's not WordPress 6.5 though. Yeah, I see we have a question on block bindings. I'm just kind of looking at our time. Are there any other specific features that y'all want to talk about in WordPress 6.5?
I think we are enough, and probably we can follow other videos as well in the YouTube. Probably we can also follow WordPress YouTube channel, where we also find some discussion about 6.5 for more information, I guess.
Okay.
So
I do
we can go
want to talk about, yeah,
we can go with that question once.
yeah. I do want to answer this one question we have in the chat. Can you please give an example where block bindings would be useful instead of a custom block? Okay, so all of the examples I actually showed of block bindings were not custom blocks; they were core blocks. Bindings do not work with custom blocks at the moment. They only work with core blocks. But let me switch back to my theme so I can show like a more advanced use case. Probably nobody except for me, because I still like attachment pages, but this is an example of how I'm using block bindings on attachments. And let me just look at an example. I think that should showcase what we're doing. Okay, so here in my theme, this is an attachment page. If you view a media file, and this image, WordPress doesn't have a way of automatically outputting the image as a block within the backend when it's on an attachment template. So that image is dynamically generated on the front end, and all of this data, the dimensions, date, the camera, anything about that, all that's custom data. And we will see, I'll show you in the editor what this looks like on the back end really quickly. What am I looking for? Oh yeah. All right. So now see, if you see here, this is connected to dynamic data, and this is not as user friendly, but for client work, this is probably not going to matter, because you as a developer, maybe you'll be handling this, but these are all just paragraph blocks that on the front end are tied to all of this data. So when that's just the use case I have on available at the moment. And but you can do so many more things. That's just was meant to show like the power behind the block bindings. I am planning on working on like a more fully featured tutorial or series that puts a lot of these things together: block bindings, custom fields, templates, block variations. I think it's helpful to see everything, in one place, how it all comes, all these different features come together. And we don't really have that yet. Yeah, I know we're just at a couple minutes left for the
Yeah.
thing, and I felt like we still didn't cover near as much of WordPress 6.5 as was possible. It's a very developer heavy release.
Yeah. Thank you, Justin, for the explanation about what is coming with 6.5. I know that within an hour, we are not able to cover all the things, showing the examples, writing some codes. But at least what we do is we show the users that something is coming with 6.5 and is beneficial for users as well. And it is also beneficial for developers as well. And if you are trying to use your code blocks with the custom fields, then there is binding coming in. So now it's time to do some research from your end as well, from a developer in, from a user's end as well. And while using it, while testing it, if you find anything like uncommon or any problem, just reach out to core teams or go to WordPress, make Slack, find core channel, go there and ask your issue or submit your issue there. Or you can also create the code tickets with the issue about the issue that you will face. So I think at least those who are in the webinar, those who are watching this video, probably will download WordPress 6.5 release candidate, install it in your PC, and start checking the things that we discussed today. And there are so many other blog posts. You can easily Google it and find in your find in the internet, and you can check the things that is coming with 6.5. And thank you so much for joining us today. We love to see you all in our upcoming webinars as well. Probably we'll do a webinar about 6.5 and the coming features of 6.5 in our other episode as well. And GoWP is proud media partner for WordCamp Europe 2024 as well. So we'll cover about WordCamp Europe in our upcoming webinar too. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining, and special thanks, Justin, uh, for your time. And have a good day for you. Those who are living in US, the day just started. And thank you so much, all of you, for joining us today.
Cheers.
Okay, thank you. Bye bye.
Okay.